Mhm.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to be leading the first Camp NaNoWriMo virtual write-in of this year. So, hello, I'm Katharine. I'm an intern here at the NaNoWriMo.
I'm Wendy. I'm the other intern. Sorry for cutting you off.
And my name is Chris Angade. I'm the director of programs for Camp NaNoWriMo. Very excited to be hanging out with these great interns and to write with you guys today.
Woo. We even brought a tree for Camp NaNoWriMo, so we can really get into the spirit of things.
Yeah,
she was totally prepared.
Alright.
So do these guys need to do anything or have anything prepared to watch this? They should probably have like a piece of paper in front of them.
Or their laptop.
Or their laptops. They're probably already on their laptops if they're watching this on a computer. Okay. So stay there, but have a Word document open.
Yeah.
Would be great.
Or if you prefer the old-fashioned method.
Oh, you can also do that. Yes, that is what me and Katharine will be doing.
Nope, I'm high tech, obviously.
Clearly, we try to make it so like everybody is accommodated somehow. We should have a typewriter next time.
I know.
Ooh, smoke signals.
That'd be
Now-
hard.
Into a wall.
Well, that's a good idea. Man, yeah, we should have like somebody doing like scrawling on our white wall right here.
Right,
I can't do that.
Next time. All right. Let's get into this.
Okay. So I think we're going to start off with some word sprints here. So just getting that word count up, just kind of opening up your imagination, trying out some new things. Keep in mind, though, these prompts are just optional. So if you want to keep just writing what you're doing and just kind of listen to us, or feel like you're joining the community, you're perfectly welcome to do that. Or if you want to take these and kind of incorporate them into what you're doing, you're welcome to do that too.
Okay, so our first prompt is think of your ideal camping spot and set your next scene there. It could be anywhere in space, on top of a mountain, near a lakeside, just anywhere. And then here's an example of a great setting.
Alright, so this is from the book Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It starts out, nettles were everywhere, the vanguard of the army. They choked the terrace. They sprawled about the paths. They leant, vulgar and lanky, against the very windows of the house. They made indifferent sentinels, for in many places their ranks had been broken by the rhubarb plant, and they lay with crumpled heads and listless stems, making a pathway for the rabbits.
Okay. So we should start. We did
Got a timer?
Hold on. We were not prepared for this part for some reason.
Okay.
The time thing.
I know. It's a word.
So I'm not sure if Wendy said, but I think we're going to do 5 minutes on this first word sprint. And again, you're writing about your ideal camping spot. And remember that it can be anywhere. Don't think that it has to be just in a forest or something. It could be on space. It could be in a fantasy world of your own imagining. And like Katharine said, you don't have to roll with this, but if it's the thing that you're working on, definitely feel free. And again, so it'll be 5 minutes. And Wendy, are you ready to start these?
I am. Okay, so we're starting right now.
Let's go.
Right.
And if you're choosing not to write, you can just watch us write. You can live vicariously.
Super interesting.
Fascinating.
My head's down.
Should we let these guys know how much time they have left? Wendy?
About 200 minutes.
2 minutes, so a little bit over halfway through, guys. About a minute left.
I have 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Oh my gosh. So finish those last sentences, guys.
Okay, we're done.
Right.
So, pencils down.
Pencils down. Don't be ashamed to say it. Like we're helping out. Pencils down.
There we go.
Okay, so in the comment section, what was your ideal camping spot?
Just give us a little, maybe a little
For your
description of it, and where it is, or what some cool features are of it.
And so while we're waiting for for you guys to give us some examples. So that said, for some reason I expected you all to look like camp counselors. What is that supposed? We look. I feel like we look.
Counselors look like?
Maybe she's imagining like more like hats.
All right.
Like
Next time,
hats and khakis.
Next time we'll bring hats.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not wearing khakis.
I feel like we look very good.
Yeah, I had horses on my shirt.
There are horses on her shirt.
That's camping.
I'm wearing green, like it's foresty. And Catherine brought that tree.
Yeah, I brought the tree.
So I mean, overall, I feel like we're doing really good. Also, yeah, a lot of people are kind of putting in their word count, so you could also put that in the results of your print in the box. Looks like somebody responded.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so radical bacon, a beach camp.
Ooh, radical. Ooh, I can imagine. That sounds right. I wish I were there right now.
Yeah.
Drew. What is it? Drew Schimmel?
Drew Schimmel?
Okay. A room entirely encased in glass.
Well, that sounds nice.
It kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Fisher had our top top word count so far. She had 309.
Wow. That's crazy.
Bethany had 118 words. She said thought hard about the prompt and her character just arrived there, so it's good that that was helpful, yeah. Around, this is David. Out in the water by a group of gods who actually start the fire. Now I'm intrigued by that plot, David. That sounds awesome. And Lexa's Clark just busted in and said that she had 500 words in 5 minutes. Good job.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
So what about you guys? Where were your camping spots?
Camping spots?
Yeah.
I went so cliche. Mine is like just in a forest, and I kind of got into this like long description of leaves crunching underneath. I said that they were like thousands of dried crickets.
Ooh.
I don't know where that came from. But then I got paranoid. I was like, maybe that's a little too cliche. So then I made similar to one of our people around this kind of typical forest. You know, these piles of crystals, and we don't know how they got there. So I don't know.
What they do.
Or what they do, exactly. So, pretty, not bad for 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you come up with, Wendy?
I totally bypassed the camping spot. For some reason, I was just like, I'm going to do my Camp NaNoWriMo project, whatever. So it's at an old building.
Okay.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But the whole idea is like, we're using like a camping spot just because we're in Camp NaNoWriMo, but really like any idea of place is what we're looking for. Katharine, how about you?
I think I took a road trip this summer and I stopped at the Grand Canyon, so I think I was influenced by that a lot because I have kind of a deserty area with like these weird rock shapes twisting out of the landscape.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Good start, guys.
Yeah, I feel like that was really good. Hopefully you guys agreed, and I think we're going to get into another word sprint, another prompt in just a sec.
I'm just going to jump into it.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is, we were fiddling with the idea of a Patronus. I'm sure some of you are Harry Potter fans. I know I am. but we were kind of taking that concept and very loosely thinking about, well, what would be an animal or a thing or a person that kind of exemplifies and personifies something that either you or your character really likes, really enjoys, really, let's see, what do we have written down? Who you are, how you act, and what you care about and admire.
Your characters, that is.
Yeah, or your character. So just thinking about why your character would identify with that particular Patronus, and kind of using that same like nice description that you had for that setting to describe this Patronus too.
So for people out there who aren't like Harry Potter fans, well, Patronus is kind of like a spirit animal. Is that how we describe it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's sort of a protector.
Okay.
But we're like adding more to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So should
So
should we give an example, maybe from Harry Potter?
Oh, yeah. That was such an okay, so our quote, so the prompt is, what would your main character's Patronus be? Describe that character with the same kind of detail you gave to the landscape of your campsite. So our example of description of a character, from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. If the motorcycle was huge, it was nothing to the man sitting astride it. He was twice as tall as a normal man, and at least 5 times as wide. He looked simply too big to be allowed, and so wild. Long tangles of bushy black hair and beard hid most of his face. He had hands the size of trash can lids, and his feet in their leather boots were like baby dolphins. So, I guess your Patronus can be Hagrid, I guess?
Yeah. That J.K. Rowling, she's not a bad writer, huh?
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so this word sprint will be 7 minutes? Yeah, 7 minutes.
Yeah, so a little bit longer, just to get into that character description.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're starting right now.
Let's go.
But we'll tell you when the halfway point arrives.
Looks like we're a little past the halfway mark, so you guys have about another 3 minutes. About a minute left. In 10 seconds, just get down your last few words. Catherine looks stressed. All right.
Okay. Okay.
So let's call that an end.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, so we were describing, using that word sprint to describe a character, but specifically we wanted you to think about who would one of your characters' Patronus's, Patroni? What would what would your character, I'm just going to say it singular.
Okay.
What would your character's Patronus be in describing that? So if you want to jump back into the chat box, you can put down both your word count, and if you had maybe a really good line you wanted to share of character description, we would love to share it with everybody. Mm-hmm. Catherine, did you have anything that you wanted to, that you were especially proud of?
Not sure. So I chose for the Patronus a lioness, possibly because The Lion King, I watched it like 50,000 times when I was a little kid, and lions are really cool. So I was just thinking about describing all the facial features, and I was thinking her tufted ears cup like delicate shells atop the heavy, sleek skull. Just kind of thinking about how that looks.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I rolled with my excerpt from last time, and I realized that I wanted to have a protector for these mysterious piles of crystals. So he is a little man who kind of just walks around them all day long, and he's very militaristic about it because he knows that that's his job. And I described his face as looking like a Halloween pumpkin on December 15th, which I thought was not bad. How about you, Wendy?
I did a cat.
Cool.
I'm not elaborating on that.
All right, so we both went. You went lion, you went cat.
Yeah, I think our Patronuses can be friends.
Yeah, that's good. Let's hear what some of these other guys did. Wow, so a lot going on.
Read people's Patronus. That's a thing.
I just saw mine's a unicorn. That's good. Well, let's read that one about the. So Tessia said, my character's Patronus is a majestic eagle. You can hear its powerful shriek from several miles around, and it flies high above the treetops of liberty. It has golden eyes and brown feathers. I love it. Yeah. Let's see. I think your best tip here.
Yeah.
Helpful hint, take an animal you love, cockatoo, and an animal that terrifies you, gorilla. Combine them and ask them to protect your camp. That is a good tip.
I like that.
You just need somebody to be the mediator.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of a cockatoo and a gorilla working together.
You can have its shoulder.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
that is
picture that
great.
in my mind.
See, I'm having no trouble picturing a cockatoo just like hanging with the gorilla.
Oh, I was thinking about if they merged together.
Oh, like one
That's what
creature?
I was trying to figure out.
Big? Or would it be small?
I'm not sure.
Like a middle, I guess.
Pocket size
Oh.
cockatioo.
That sounds really cute. So let's see. So BEP said, got 284 words, had a deadly dragon as a Patronus. Lexi had 115 words. Somebody's talking about aliens, right? Let's read that.
Which one is this?
Well, I might need the context. Let's do that.
Okay, yeah.
So Gish Wish Love, sorry about I can't read your username. 237, a wolf for one aspect of the character. She's been broken into several different aspects of herself. And a human for the part of her that has a mental illness. Kind of an anti-Patronus. That's a really interesting idea.
Okay.
Nice. There's such a range. I love it.
I know, right? We got eagles, we got the gorilla cockatoos.
Bear with us.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just trying to figure out our prompts here because you guys are so awesome and just like giving us so much information. Okay, what do we do? So for our next prompt, we had kind of taking that character that you just described, that Patronus or whatever you had, and kind of putting it in the setting that you described earlier. So putting it in that scene, and then trying to think of what they would see. So seeing through that character's eyes, like maybe things that they would notice that your other main character wouldn't, or like different things that they would take in or would feel differently about in that setting. So just trying to kind of, I don't know, open up your mind a little bit, expand it, try to see from different characters' point of view.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Yeah, so for instance, for mine, like I started describing this guy who protects these crystals. Maybe now I'm going to try to like get into his brain and like write the scene from his perspective. Like, why is it so important to him that he protects these crystals? And we have an example. Can I read this one?
Yeah, I have the book here if you want to read the book.
Yeah, if you have it marked.
Do that.
Where do we start?
Start from there.
And then we end for her return capture. Okay. So this is from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsberg. If you have not read this book, what are you doing? Please read it. It's great.
And then run away from home.
Well,
I think I have to do that.
and so it goes like this. The fact that her allowance was so small that it took her more than 3 weeks of skipping hot fudge sundaes to save enough for train fare was another example of injustice. Since... Should I skip this part?
So this book is written from the perspective of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler about a girl who runs away, and she's writing to her lawyer, so it's all these kind of crazy characters, like one perspective and then another.
I'll roll with it. Okay. Since you always drive to the city, Saxonburg, that's our lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't know the cost of train fare. I'll tell you. Full fare one way costs $1.60. Claudia and Jamie could each travel for half of that, and Jamie was well under 12, being only 9. Since she intended to return home after everyone had learned a lesson in Claudia appreciation, valuable lesson indeed, she had to save money for her return trip too, which was like full fare one way. Claudia knew that hundreds of people who lived in her town worked in offices in New York City and could afford to pay full fare both ways every day, like her father. After all, Greenwich was considered an actual suburb of New York, a commuting suburb. So this is interesting. So you chose this because it's kind of like how this character is viewing a certain setting or situation.
Yeah, and I think it's also because it's being written from the perspective of one character, but getting into the mind of another character. Like, she knows that the person she's writing to is not going to care about train fare, but the person she's writing about, that's really important to her. So I think just figuring out, what's important to different characters in the same setting.
So it's kind of like maybe using the character that you wrote last time, but really any character, just kind of like take a walk in their shoes if you haven't in a while, and that's a good 10-minute prompt, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so we're starting right now. So when it hits 40, whatever your time, hour, in your time zone, and then 40 is when we stop.
Let's go.
That makes sense. Hopefully that does.
And 35 is the halfway mark.
Yes, it is.
Cool, so they can keep track.
Okay. So we're at the halfway, so 5 minutes left.
So I think about a minute ago? Oh,
Approximately, yeah.
a little over.
Okay. We're done.
Done.
Yep, 10 minutes over. So, in the comment section, leave how many words you've written so far.
If you also want to include, like, maybe a sentence of seeing through that character's eyes, that would be cool too.
Cool.
So, like, you guys, how did that one go for you?
That one went okay. So yes, I kind of decided to do the thing that I was talking about, looking from the perspective of the soap protector and why he does it and why he takes the job so seriously. It turns out, I found out while I was writing, that it was his father's job to protect the crystals, and it was his father's dying words to make sure that he did the same. But there's an interesting backstory that I just started uncovering when apparently the father took his eyes off the crystals and justice was swift. You know, who is working above them? We don't know yet. Yeah, that's what I came up with. Wendy, how about you?
I wrote from the cat's perspective, and it was super judgmental.
Whoa,
Yeah,
cats
super
can be very
judgmental.
judgmental. Yeah.
Are you cat people or dog people? Just tangent.
Yeah.
Either?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I'm...
Wendy doesn't want to alienate any of our
That's true,
potential
that's true.
audience.
No.
I'm a dog person for life. I'm a total dog person.
Sorry, cat people.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
I like some cats. The thing with cats, like, they act like they don't need you.
Yeah,
and like,
true.
I need a creature. Like, if I'm gonna take care of this creature, I want it to, like, you know, validate me somehow. That's the most selfish, like, way to put it. But yeah, dogs are great.
Dogs are pretty great.
Cats can be cool too.
Yeah. The only reason why I like cats, I do like cats, obviously. That's okay. Is because it's like me. Like, it doesn't care, like, necessarily.
Ooh, there's a lot of these coming up. We should get this.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
We'll leave that.
Next time.
Let's see. Oh.
So a lot of people with good word counts. Let's see. So Fella's star had 222, and her quote was, "She fell face first into the water and the dark liquid surrounding her, making it impossible to breathe." Now that is a cliffhanger. And hopefully she did the dark water description in maybe the first round, and then has kind of brought it around to what her character, how her character is interacting.
Okay, so Pink Flamingo Chick, 206. Bad choice for little mice. Good hunting for predators, but my predators didn't roam the skies at night. They stalk the earth whenever they choose.
Oh, I like that.
Oh.
Oh, all right. I'll read this one from Lisi. We're both obsessed with crystals. It was rainbow and looked like it was patched together by different fish scales. And its eyes, they were crystals. Nice description. Really good. Lexi Taylor had 154 words in that last sprint. Do we get anything else? We got lots of comments.
Yes.
We can't read them all.
We wish we could.
They come very quickly. But yeah, sounds like you guys came up with some good stuff.
Okay, so our last word sprint. So the prompt is, remember your setting from the first prompt. So your ideal camping spot. Imagine the opposite. So if it's like the woods, you'd go like the city, I guess, somewhere that's not wood area.
Or wherever. You can be creative with that. Something that is just totally different.
How your character would react to that totally different setting.
And so should this be another 10 minutes, or do you want to make it shorter? What do you think?
It's
11:40.
yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. So this will be definitely the last sprint of the day, so really use this to up that word count today.
Okay. Yes.
So,
example.
yeah, so I have an example. This is one of my favorite books called Jonathan Strange Mystery Noir. It looks intimidatingly large, but it's actually a really good read. But so there's one part where the city of Venice suddenly turns into this forest. So it's, yeah, completely opposite type of thing.
It was as if the fate which had always seemed to threaten the city of Venice had overtaken her in an instant. But instead of being drowned in water, she was drowned in trees. Dark, ghostly trees crowded the alleys and the squares, and filled the canals. Walls were no obstacle to them. Their branches pierced stone and glass. Their roots plunged deep beneath paving stones. Statues and pillars were sheathed in ivy. It was suddenly, to strangest senses at any rate, a great deal quieter and darker. Trailing beards of mistletoe hid lamps and candles, and the dense canopy of branches blocked out the moon.
Okay,
There we go.
So we'll start our word sprint in the next 10 minutes.
Let's remind again what the prompt is. So it's taking what you wrote before and then kind of doing the opposite of it.
Opposite setting.
Opposite setting, or maybe like the excerpt that Catherine read, like something reverses, changes into something else. So again, 10 minutes, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let's do this.
Just a reminder, you don't have to do these prompts, but
let's make them.
yeah.
Let's get started.
So we're at the halfway point, so 5 more minutes left.
So it's at about a minute.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Time?
Yep, time is up. So, again, in the chat, what was your word count and what place was the opposite of your initial setting? So, in the meantime, what was your reverse setting? Yeah.
So I started out with the desert, the weird, crazy rock sculptures, and I thought, well, a bunch of water suddenly came flowing in and became an ocean. So my lioness was there in the desert. Yes, one of the sentences where she was like, oh, what is this stuff? Her panicked cries roar across the waves of this sudden ocean, the deep rasping growl that had so often warned the desert creatures of their impending fates as three-course meals, echoing uselessly between the twisted islands that had once been mountains in the desert wilderness.
Cool.
I read long sentences, so
It's okay. Long sentences are good. I'm gonna increase that word count.
you know.
Chris?
Man, guys, I'm so into these crystals.
I'm really curious about them.
Yeah, me too. So the way that I took opposite was like kind of like what's underneath the reverse image of these crystals. So I decided that these crystals kind of like hold these small glimpses into kind of like an underworldly place. But it turns out when you uncover all those small openings, they triangulate to make like a doorway, and you do not want that stuff coming out. Yeah. So man.
Nice. My opposite setting was a crowded room. Because the main character doesn't like crowds, doesn't like a lot of people. So just throw the crowd people in.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do something that your main character would not like, just to see how
they deal with it.
See how they react.
She retreats. Okay. Getting. Okay.
All right, so lots of cool stuff. Glitter 111 Sparkle had 286 words. Smiley face, we agree. Griffin Writer 1989 says gave a great quote. Its black background morphed into a bright light blue and thin. White wisps of clouds flowed through the newly awakened sky. What a beautiful sentence. And that's kind of like, day or night turning into day. 405. So Dance Storm started with from the wild on the ground. She started with, and then the opposite was a city in a floating mountain high above. Awesome. And then Kara had, I walked out into the sandy floor of the beach after setting up my tent inside. I love the new view. It was different. Oh no. With the calming waves in the background and the silence around me. She wrote 307 words during that last spring. Keely had 273 words, and she started with a dusty passageway. Oh no, maybe her new one was the dusty passageway, but she started with a fresh, clean courtyard. Cool. Josephine. These are going too quick. Okay, Josephine had 215 words, and she was describing a kindergarten playground. I'm not sure if she started with an opposite. I'm not sure what the opposite of a kindergarten playground would be. Like a retirement home? Let's see. Orange Pandanus, I like that username, had 279 words. An abyss, dark and empty, yet so very full of nothing but silence and a sense of completion. Very interesting. Thanks.
Okay.
Well, great job, guys.
Yeah, really awesome.
These are so interesting. I want to know more about.
Yeah, well, we should go back and read all like the stuff we didn't get downstairs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so how should we wrap this up?
Not sure.
The only thing that came to my mom was let's sing a song, but no, we will spare you.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe
next time.
Thank you guys so much for coming and joining in with us. I'd love to feel that we're sitting here on this couch, but you guys are all sitting here with us. So.
Yeah, totally, and that's I think that's just something for all of our events, but definitely Camp NaNoWriMo. It's very much like there are people doing it all over the world, and some of them are writing in actual tents, some of them are writing in actual cabins, but no matter where you're writing, we want you to consider this like really like a writer's retreat. Like really treat this month as a time to go into your imagination and see what comes out. It might be crystals, It might be unicorns. It might be
Cats.
cats. Anything goes, and we really hope that you treat yourself to that this month. So we're going to be back next week. I'm not going to be back. These guys will be back. And when will that be?
Next Wednesday, I believe, at 11. Yeah, so the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same time, same place, and there'll be more writing prompts and awesome stuff.
We hope that it was all helpful to you. It should be.
Yeah, right on, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Rip off the dream.